Do you ever get to the time around New Year's and think, somehow this year, magically, I'm going to be able to do everything exponentially better than last year? This video is my attempt to avoid that trap in my knitting. I'm looking back at 2025 so that I can set some reasonable expectations for 2026. So I'm filled with joy when I think about knitting instead of overwhelmed and like I'm doomed from the start. My siblings and I have a tradition of creating annual lists, not really goals, but just lists of things we want to accomplish, experiences we want to have. Some of them are kind of goal related, but some aren't. Last year we did 25 for 25 and this year 26 for 26. So I'm going to just tell you the yarny related items from my 25 for 25 list, which there were quite a few, and I didn't accomplish most of them. What is my dog doing behind me? For 25 for 25, I had quite a few of those were related to making. First up was to make 25 purple hats. I had planned to make 25 baby hats for Click for Babies, which is it's a program to educate parents of new babies that excessive crying in their baby can be completely normal. And I was really excited to make 25 hats. I got a whole, I bought yarn in bulk for it, and they stopped doing that. I didn't do any of that. 0 out of 25. I also set a goal to make 25 YouTube videos. I ended up making, I think, 18 long form videos and 3 short form videos. So I didn't quite make it to 25. But I'll tell you what, I made a heck of a lot more than if I had just said, I'm going to make some YouTube videos. Finish my wallflowers blanket. Nope, I didn't do that. I made progress on my wallflowers blanket, but it is just time consuming, and it's going to take, I have to just dedicate more time to it. So it didn't happen in 2025, which is great because if you tune into my podcast, then you can see it month after month, slowly growing into a blanket. Learn 5 new fiber art skills. I crushed this. I think I learned the 5 new fiber art skills within the first month. I mean, even the first project of 2025, I probably learned 3 or 4 new skills. So absolutely, that was easy breezy. It helps that I am new to knitting. And when you're new to something, you don't know how to do anything. So everything is new. So that one is an easy one. I wanted to knit with dog hair in 2025. I did make some steps towards this, but not enough. I washed and prepared some dog fur for it, and I practiced spinning on wool, but I just kept leaving too much space between those activities. I just need to make a weekend of it. So that didn't happen. It sort of happened. Steps were taken. Last was go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I live in Maryland, so I really wanted to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool, but I went to a wedding instead, which was wonderful. And actually, the people that got married, they're having a baby today. Isn't that exciting? I did, however, go to Maryland Sheep and Wool Winterfest. So I think that counts, and I'm going to check that off. Now, a recap of 2025. In total, I made 17 finished objects. 8 of those were gifts. And then the 17 breaks down into 5 garments, 6 accessories for head, hands, and feet. You know what hands are. I don't need to do jazz hands at you. 1 bag, 2 house items, and 3 weird little guys.
It was at this moment in the editing process that Katie realized that due to inadequate Ravelry project maintenance, these numbers were completely wrong.
positives from the year, my best gift was certainly the rat that I gave my stepdaughter on so many levels. My stepdaughter asked for Dungeons and Dragons dice for Christmas. So I got her some that are plague doctor themed. She loves rats and she's always talking about like the rats and the plague. And so I made her a knit rat, which I hacked into a bag. I followed somebody else's project on Ravelry, so I'll link that below so you can check it out. I did not come up with the idea, but man, it was the best gift ever. I made the lining sort of a rusty red color and the zipper sort of a rusty red, and she was so excited to see, first of all, oh my gosh, it's a rat. The response of just her opening the gift was like, it's a rat, that's so cool. And then she flipped it over, she's like, it has a zipper, it looks like blood. And she opened it and she's like, Dungeons and Dragons dice. It was so exciting. It just like hit all the marks. So hands down, best gift of the year. Most worn garment from the year was my owl's sweater. Part of that is that I made it in February, and part of it is that it fits pretty well. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty good fit. So I was able to wear it pretty frequently. My derpiest knit of the year goes to the Orioles themed golf club cover, which I made my husband for his birthday. He hasn't used it for his golf clubs yet, but he has taken it to an Orioles game and just used it like as a hand puppet. My best save goes to the Woodstove Pullover that I made my husband. I made a whole video about how disastrous this was and how many rookie mistakes I made in a row, but I did save that sweater. He hasn't worn that sweater yet, and so I'm not sure. I can't tell if he like doesn't like it or he just hasn't had a chance to. It is going to be like 5 degrees this weekend. So if there was ever a chance to wear it this weekend is one of them. But also I think maybe he doesn't like wool because it is like 40% wool, the yarn I used. So I'm going to give that another couple weeks, but I don't want to make him feel like it needs to take up space in his drawer if he doesn't like it. Because I will certainly wear it because it's cozy and warm. But I am still really proud of how I saved it after trying so hard and in so many different ways to ruin it. And my favorite project of the year overall was my Sunset Sorrel. I don't know if it's Sorrel or Sorrel. I loved this pattern and I used my yarn advent from Christmas 2024. I started it, I think, on New Year's Day. If not, it was just a couple days later. But I love it. It's a beautiful fade. Oh, I actually have it right here. I love the pattern. I love the shape of it. I love this yarn was so nice to work with. It worked up pretty quickly because it's a DK weight yarn. I really love this sweater. So favorite one. This is, yeah, absolutely my favorite project. The yarn advent was themed Winter Sunset. Isn't that just beautiful? I wore this like a month after I made it, and I was on a bus with some other people on my way to a job, and this guy was like, "Oh, did you make that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, I noticed the fade. I figured you probably made it. My wife is a knitter too." Yeah, you know the terminology. Okay. Oh, I actually brought these out to show you too. Duh. This is my most worn. My most worn was my owl's sweater. And my best save. This is my best save. This is my husband's pullover, Woodstove pullover. Just don't look too closely at this part. I have a few whips that I am carrying over from 2025. When I look at my Ravelry page, there are 7 works in progress on there, but 2 of them I'm not really counting. One of those is a travel blanket that I add on to every time I travel for work. So it's sort of an infinity whip, like it won't be done for another 10 years. So that's not a whip that I'm trying to finish up. And then the other one is a sweater that I'm making for a friend with another friend, and sort of the ball's in her court. We've both sort of just put it on hold. When we're back to working on it as a team, I will add it back to my whip list. But right now it's just sort of hanging out. So that leaves 5 from my project. That leaves 5 from my Ravelry projects. And they are, ooh, let's see if I can do this from memory. I can't do much from memory, but let's try. They are a gift for my friend, Claire, a gift for someone else that I can't say who they're, okay, let me say it this way. They are 2 gifts. One is a Christmas gift and one is just sort of a thank you gift with no exact timeline. My Aviva dress, which has turned into the Aviva top because I don't have enough yarn for the dress, my Spellman sweater, and my Wallflowers blanket. So those are the 5 that are left. I did it from memory. Now I want to make this a realistic number. So I have 5 according to my Ravelry page. That one of those gifts that I'm making is a belated Christmas gift, but it's for my girl squad, my lady squad, and there are 4 of us. So I need to make 2 more. So even though I haven't cast those on, in my mind, they're like basically whips because I need to cast them on in the next week or 2. And then the other gift on the list is actually a gift for 2 people. It's a pair of matching socks for a couple. So that one kind of actually counts as 2. I just have it as 1 project on my Ravelry page, but practically speaking, it's 2. So if my math is correct, I think that is 8 whips, which is too many. 2026 whips. The whips I've brought into 2026. Oh, cute dogs. The whips I'm bringing into 2026 are a perfect segue into what my 26 goals are. On my 26 for 26 list, I only have 2 yarn related items. One of those is to reduce my yarn stash so that it will fit in a set of drawers I have in my studio and my pegboard in my studio. Right now, they're sort of overflowing into, I have a plastic bin that is full of yarn as well as a couple more drawers. That's goal number 1. The second one is to maintain a 3 whip limit. Both of these things are designed to make my knitting crochet life more enjoyable and feel less pressure to get things done and to save space in my house. I have a small house. I can't, listen, if you have a big house, you can have as many yarn rooms as you want. I don't have a big house. And so this is the amount of space I am willing to dedicate to yarn. And that is the goal. So breaking that down a little bit into quarters. First quarter, my goal is to get down to the 3 whips. So if I can finish my girlfriends, the 3 presents for my girlfriends and the his and her socks, that already gets me down to 3 whips. And I think I can also finish either my Spellman sweater or the Aviva dress turned into Aviva shirt in that time because they're both close to being done. Wait a minute. Did I just do the thing that I always do where I think I can get everything done despite the fact that I have a whole life? And I might have just done it again. But I can get down to 3 whips in the first quarter. Second quarter, or whenever I get down to 3 whips, if that doesn't happen in first quarter, my first project that I will cast on will be something that is using a large, chunky yarn. That way I can feel like I got something big out of the bin, right? It's like yarn that just takes up a lot of volume and would theoretically be a fast knit. I have a couple of ideas for that, so stay tuned to future podcasts and you'll see what chunky yarns get chosen. Now, despite the fact that I only have 2 yarn-related goals on my list, goals is a strong word. The 26 for 26 list is not goals you must check off, but a curated list that is designing your year and the kind of year you want to have, whether or not you get all the things done. So, it's not goals, but it's kind of goals. I did make a bingo card just for a little extra fun, and especially because the 2 items that I put on my 26 list, they're pretty big items. Maintaining a 3 whip limit is that's a challenge for me. I like having a lot of things happening at the same time, and I think that is what has caused me to have whips now that have been languishing, and then you stop feeling quite as excited to work on them. So that one is a little bit of a challenge, and even just to get to 3 whips will be a bit of a hustle. But then also getting my yarn stash down, I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this venture. The number of yarn stash videos on the internet tells you how many people feel this feeling of, oops, I think this is more yarn than I feel comfortable having. Just, I literally lie awake at night sometimes just thinking like, ooh, I could make that. Ooh, I could make that. And it's not in a fun way. It's like in a frantic way. So I think getting my yarn stash down will help with that. Anyway, that is a pretty big goal that can feel intimidating and overwhelming. And so I made this bingo card to make sure that my knitting life is still filled with whimsy and small achievable things without the pressure of you must do this list. So here is my bingo card. Number 1 is to make a protest knit. I'm thinking something like subversive but hidden, like maybe a pair of socks that say something naughty on the cuffs, something like that. I don't have many occasions where I could wear things that actually say like bad words or politically aggressive things. So it would have to be something that is just like for my heart, you know? But I think that'd be fun. My Salty Days sweater. I got yarn at my local yarn store's Shop Small Saturday sale, Saturday after Thanksgiving. And I got yarn for a Salty Days sweater, 40% off. I want to use chunky yarn. That's a good one towards getting my yarn stash down. Fix a knit. I have a couple options for this. Oh goodness, I dropped my knit. Ugh. My owl sweater. Oh, hi little girl. My owl sweater, it fits pretty well, but I would like an inch more on each of the sleeves. That's an easy fix. This one is a slightly harder fix, but way more impactful. This is my Sorrel sweater or Sorrel sweater. I don't know. And I love this sweater, but I bound it off too tight and it's a little short. So I'd like to take off the binding, add maybe 2 inches of length, and then bind it off with a stretchy bind off. This bind off has no stretch, and it's exactly at my waist, so poor choice. In fairness to 2025 Katie, this is my first knit garment, so it was my first bind off that was really high stakes like that. So I'm not mad at her. She did a great job. One of those will hopefully get fixed this year. Finish my wallflowers blanket. My wallflowers blanket, this I started in 2024, and it was on my list, right, to finish it in 2025. I didn't. So I would like to finish it this year. I had this idea moments ago, the first time I recorded this, not realizing that my camera was out of storage, and so it didn't actually record. But I had this idea. On my bingo card, I have 2 bonus spots, and I'm actually going to take both of those and make them wallflower spots too, because I think I actually have 3 chapters left in the course, in the pattern. It's divided up into chapters, so that way I can check off earlier instead of it just being this big daunting thing. Can you tell that I don't do well with big daunting things? I'm a small goal kind of gal. Stranded color work needs no explanation. A verb for keeping warm. I have a verb for keeping warm is a beautiful yarn store in, I think it's Oakland, California, and I was able to visit there in person last year. And I have yarn for a couple of different projects, and I would really like to not only cast on but finish one of those this year. Just the yarn is so special to me, and it's magical to work with. And the patterns that I chose are really exciting too. So, yes. Do a pattern from a book. I have these 2 books. Romantic Knits. This is Fable Knitwear, which I bought last year. And then I received this as a Christmas gift, Fellowship of the Knits. More than 25 patterns to rule them all. I have to make this. I got to make something out of this. There are actually quite a few things in here that I want to make. Same thing with the Romantic Knits. So that'd be a fun thing. You know that idea that like creativity does really well with boundaries? When you have limitless patterns and limitless yarn, which we have now, it feels like, oh, I don't know what to make. But if it's like, okay, you're going to make something out of this book, that's really helpful. I like that. Next up is to use Elder Stash. I love watching the Stashdown Diaries, that YouTube channel, and she talks about Elder Stash all the time. I haven't been knitting or crocheting that long, so I don't have anything that's ancient, but I would like to use some yarn that has been languishing. A donation knit, since I did not get around to donating anything in 2025. I would love to make something for a charity. One of the things I'm thinking is there's a hospice nearby that I volunteer at, and they've just started giving patients blankets as part of their intake. So I would love to make a blanket. I have yarn for it already. It's kind of time consuming, but I think if I pick the right pattern, it can be one of those things that I can work on pretty mindlessly, because I get those done much faster. So even if it's just like a granny rectangle or, a chevron, whatever, even if it's a simple design, I think a hand knit or handmade item would be really lovely. It would feel really good to be able to give that to somebody. So a pair of pants. I did this in 2025. I plan on making another pair. My local yarn store is also a fabric store. So on that Shop Small Saturday sale, I was able to get some really nice linen blend fabric for 40% off. I would like to make something using my dad's shirts. I kept quite a few of my dad's button-down shirts with the intention of making something with it. I was thinking about making like little keepsakes for everybody. One thing I was thinking is I could make like patchwork items and maybe send everybody in my siblings like a pillow or even like a Christmas tree ornament or something like that. But I also saw a video last week of a woman who took one of her dad's shirts. Her dad had recently passed away, and she took one of his shirts and made it into a jacket. I don't know if I have that skill level yet, or if my dad's shirts would fit me in a way that I could turn it into a jacket, but that really opened up my mind into some other things I could do. I'll link the video below because it's a beautiful video. She does beautiful work, and it's a wonderful reflection on grief and processing grief through making. I would like to dye something. I have 2 pairs of pants that could really use a different color to fit into my wardrobe. So if you have any tips on dyeing synthetic fabrics, please leave them below, because this is my first venture into dyeing at all. Get down to my 3 whips. Self-explanatory. Make some socks for myself. I do have 2 pairs of socks that I made myself, but turns out I love knitting socks and I love wearing hand knit socks. So let's do that. Use one of my advents. I got an advent in 2025, and it's a little bit more challenging for me to figure out how to use it than my 2024 advent. But that is one option. But I also will probably get a sock advent, right? One of those advents, it's just like one skein of self-striping yarn. I think that's my plan for 2026, because I don't need another 24 mini skein advent right now in my life. But I love the excitement of the countdown. So I think a sock advent would be great. And if I did that, I could use an advent and make a pair of socks for myself. Two birds. What does my sister say? 2 carrots with 1 fork. She's vegan. She doesn't like talking about bird death. Add to my tour blanket. This one's kind of an easy one because I am definitely traveling for work at least 3 times this year, and I will absolutely be buying yarn and adding to my blanket for that. If you know of some sweet sweet yarn shops in the Oslo, Norway area, please let me know, because that's one of the places I think I'm going this year. Make a ranunculus. Repair some clothes. Pretty self-explanatory. Some of them are thrifted, some of them I've had for years and years, and some are handmade that just need an adjustment or are getting a little barren at the seams. Take a spinning class. I took a spinning class last year at my local yarn store. I really enjoyed it, and I was all fired up to make some amazing projects and to learn how to spin with dog hair, and I just didn't keep it up. I need to like maintain some momentum with something like that. And I've watched some YouTube videos and they're really helpful, but I get so much from a class experience. So I'm gonna take the class again, and this time with a little bit more knowledge under my belt, so maybe I can leave with more tangible skill. And then also I can maybe ask more pointed questions to my teacher about the dog fur. Host a craft night. How have I never done this before? I would love to do this. I might host it at my friend's house because she's a big crafter and she's allergic to dogs, and I only have dog fur in my house. So maybe I'll ask if we can host it at her house. Maybe we could co-host. Autumn, do you want to co-host a craft night at your house? Let me know. Lunchbox. I just have lunchbox written on my bingo card, and when I revisited the bingo card after I made it, I was like, lunchbox? Am I making myself a lunchbox? No. It's a pattern called the Lunchbox Cardigan, and it's one of the ones that I'm very excited to knit. I have yarn for it that I'm really excited about using. I think it'll be a quick knit. It'll get rid of quite a lot from my drawers, which is exciting. So that's that one. And that is my bingo card. So that wraps it up. Those are my goals, my sort of plan for the year. I think what I'm trying to capture in my plan for 2026 is to feel a lot of excitement. Yes, excitement, but more a sense of relaxation when I think about projects. I'm a really excitable person for new projects, and I love that quality about myself, but I have to be mindful to balance it with the enjoying the boring middle period of working on something and not just starting a million things, not overcommitting. I think 2026 will have fewer gift knits. I think I'm only going to do a gift knit if it's something that like kills. You know what I mean? The rat that I made for my stepdaughter this year. Last year I made a Freddie Mercury doll for my mother-in-law. Like those were so special to those people. That's the kind of gift I want to knit, not just like, well, what should I make this person this year because I have somehow obligated myself to knit somebody a gift. That doesn't feel as fun. And the getting it down to the so fewer gift knits I think will help with that. And then also this 3 whip limit I think is going to be really helpful, just because it doesn't make me feel like, oh no, I've done it again, I'm doing too many things. It's like, cool, I have the project that I need to think about a lot, so I can't be distracted. I have the totally mindless one, and I've got one I can throw in my bag. Those are kind of the categories I like to fill. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, extra special double triple thank you. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, have fun, be nice, and do good work.